Hello and welcome to another episode of Bare Bones Wargaming, a show with no bells, no whistles, no frills, just a man, a camera, and his game. Today's episode, well, let's put it this way. It's a long way to Tipperary. It's a long way from here. We are going to take a look at Clash of Giants 2. First, I think I'm pronouncing this right. It's been a long time since I've done any study in the First World War. Ypres, I think is how you pronounce that. I'm sure my European friends will help me out with that. And Galicia, 1914, designed by Ted Racier, published by GMT Games back in 2006. Of course, Clash of Giants 1 had the Marne and Tannenberg in it. And I was punching this out the other day. Yeah, I got an unpunched copy last year when I went through my mini World War I run, although this one is clearly a much bigger World War I run this year. And I thought about that when I was punching this out the other day. I'm like, dang, this thing has sat unpunched for 14 years. And I think about where I was 14 years ago. It's like, haha, so much has changed. So here, I'm playing this game. Partly I'm playing this game, to be honest, because it's kind of a nice, light, easy World War I game. But also because I've been reading this book, which I highly recommend. Oops, let me get my thumb away from the title there. German Strategy and the Path to Verdun. I just was reading about First Ypres, Falkenhayn's approach to that and stuff. But this has been most interesting, particularly from a debate within the German General Staff of a group that was not necessarily sure that the whole, decisive battle of annihilation idea was the best way for Germany to win a war. Based on experiences of the second part of the Franco-Prussian War. So I won't spoil any more than that, but it's been an easy read, good read, it's been very interesting. Between that and, I probably can't find it on my shelf real quick, unfortunately. I read this last year. It's Terence Zuber about the real German war plan. But I don't know where I put that one on my shelves here. Yeah, it's not where I thought it was. But anyway, between that and this has been a very interesting reevaluation of Germany's war plans and how they were looking at things for the First World War. Okay? Alright, now, this here is the Race to the Sea, which basically makes this kind of battle like a meeting engagement. So I'm picking up here actually on turn 11. This one goes to 11 because this is when things are kind of really combat's going to be happening. There's been a whole lot of fighting up until now. So I thought this was a good way to illustrate the game at this point because before there just wasn't much going on. There was stuff going on, but you get my idea here. Just not as much because people have been funneling in reinforcements here like crazy for the first 10 turns. Okay? So as always, just going to jump right in. If you know anything about the Clash of Giants series, it's pretty straightforward. The rule book's only 8 pages long. Then there's a battle book that gives you details and special rules for each battle. So, excuse me, nothing earth-shattering here. But yeah, just a nice, easy, light World War I game if that's what you're looking for. Alright, so let's start here. So, here we go. First step on each turn is mutual supply determination. Supply in this is pretty straightforward, what you would expect from most war games. You're basically trying to trace supply from your units to a supply source, which for the French and the British and the Belgians, the western edge of the map, or there's a southern edge down here. For the Germans, to quote Blackadder, it would be the east edge and down here. Basically, you can trace it, standard. Can't go through enemy zone of control unless negated by a friendly unit. The one little quirk here is that the first 5 hexes can go any which way but loose, so to speak. But then the rest of them have to follow the retreat compass down here, which basically for the Germans is back and down these 2 directions, and then for the British and the French and the Belgians, it's the other directions. Okay. So if you get isolated, or if you get out of supply, first you get attenuated supply, basically can't receive any replacements, and then after that is when you have effects. But a unit can stay out of supply indefinitely in this game. So don't think that you're going to be able to pocket your enemy's units and basically get rid of them. Please try again. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to crush them at some point. Okay. So here, because the front lines you can see is starting to really get formed. Not entirely yet. More about that in a little bit. So no worries about supply here. Okay. Second step is mutual reinforcements and replacements. Now, some units come into the game, a lot of them do, okay? Some of them have just a turn code number, like this French unit here has an 11, okay? Which means you can place it anywhere on the map. Well, anywhere at a starting reinforcement hex, which again is basically the west edge of the map for the Allies and the bottom here to the south. Now, some of them have a letter code, and if you can see here on the map, and maybe I'll zoom in here just a little bit so you can see, here, look at the German edge here. There are zones in this game, A, B, C, and D, which basically are used to determine activation for units here. This is a chit pool game, okay? So you can put them along there, or some of them are assigned to us. Like, for example, I had some German units that had to go in Zone B. So between this point and this point, they had to come in the game. Now, the Allies are having a little bit of a problem here. I'm sure you can see there's a little bit of a hole over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these guys down here and basically try to rush them up here as quickly as possible. To win the game, you have to capture these red victory point hexes with the red stars. Okay, whoever basically has the most at the end of the game wins, kind of thing. Alright, so I'll put those reinforcements there. Only the French get them this turn, and that's it. Now you can do replacements. Now replacements, cavalry units, which I do have a French cavalry unit to replace. Cavalry units can come back into the game stacked with a friendly cavalry unit. Okay, so I'm going to put it down here with these guys. And you mark it with a replacement to remind yourself that it can't move, can't do anything, it's just holding still. Okay. Stacking in the game is basically 2 units in a hex, unless they're from the same corps or they're cavalry units, and they can stack 3. Okay. Now the French don't have, I believe, any replacements, so I really can't show you that. Now the British do. As you can see here, there's a British unit that is reduced. You can see the stripe, again, standard, normal stuff you would see here in a war game. But the British have limited replacements in this game. You only get 2 the entire game of 18 turns, so you have to be very judicious. So I'm going to leave them sit there, okay? Because I can still illustrate the replacements here with the Germans. So I'll do that here in a second, okay? Now replacements, you can label the unit with the replacement. I'm going to go down here to this division, okay? Because these guys got beat up. You basically have to be in supply and not an enemy zone of control. Okay. Then the unit cannot move for the rest of the turn. Can't move, can't fight, can't touch this. Okay. If it gets attacked by the enemy, then you remove the replacement marker and the replacements are lost for that turn, and the unit functions normally as far as combat is concerned. So no penalties for that, but you won't get your replacements to rebuild the unit. Okay. Now, if an enemy unit finishes the turn in the zone of control but doesn't attack, that's okay. Then you still will get your replacement. Okay, it's only if you get attacked where you have a problem. Okay, all right, so that's our replacements. Next part, stage 3, has already happened a long time ago. That's the flood stage. Now up here, I'm going to move you up here a little bit on the northern end of the map and zoom in here by the Belgians, who are holding most of their country line here. These hexes here, you can see them shaded a little bit. If you look a little further back, you can see these darker ones up here. Okay. These ones are ones that are already flooded, and these ones that are the lighter shade can be flooded by the Allies after a Belgian unit ends up here in Nieuwpoort. I'm probably butchering that big time. My apologies to any Belgian viewers. And then you can flood these hexes, which I did quite a while ago. I did this on turn 6, actually, is when I flooded these. So basically, then they have the same function as the flood hexes, which basically causes a lot of problems because it takes all your movement factor to move into there, and you cannot attack out of a flood hex. So basically, it's kind of, making like a nice geographical barrier there. Okay. All right. So no flooding to worry about, so to speak. We've already done that. All right, Allied strategic rail movement. Now, this one's a little different than some other games you might find with strategic rail movement. Okay, 4 units can use it, French and British combined, total. Okay, and you basically can move either, you can enter as a reinforcement, like this French unit back here, or you can move along the map from place to place, but you must start in a friendly town city hex, and you have to stop at the first one you end up in. So for example, if you had let's say a British unit here at Hazenbroek, then if you went this way, you'd actually have to stop here. You wouldn't be able to go all the way to the front. Okay, so it is basically town to town, city to city kind of thing. You can't just unload troops like in the middle of the track. You can't do this either. Okay, so you kind of have to keep that in mind while you're doing strategy here. When you move them by strategic movement, they're done for the turn. They cannot go any farther that turn. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and move these guys, and we'll move them up to here so I can get them another leap forward later. And I have to mark them with a done marker, because they are basically done for this turn, which every turn, by the way, is basically 2 days of time. So right now, this is October 28th and 29th of 1914. Okay. I'm not going to move anybody else by rail because I don't think it's necessary right now, so we're going to leave that be. Okay. So that's basically rail movement. Again, the little quirky thing is moving town to town, city to city. You just can't load up on a railroad track anywhere, and you can't unload anywhere you want on a rail line either. By the way, the rail lines have no other effect on play. So if you march through here at Passchendaele, which I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that, but I think it's how the English pronounced it, that still would be a broken hex, okay? Because the railway does not negate. There is no other effect other than the strategic rail movement. All right, now the operations phase. The operations phase, this is a chit pool game. Now, of course, some chit pool games you activate by formations and things like that. This one you actually activate by these zones that I showed you before, A, B, C, and D. So when you pull a marker, so let's pull one. Survey says, that's good, that's good. Okay, I'm going to start with Zone C of the Germans. Okay, so all the units basically then between, let's get some big dice here to show you, in Zone C. So anybody that starts in between these spaces here, you'll be able to move this turn. Now movement is variable. There is a movement track, so you roll a die every single time you pull a marker and find out how many movement points you want to get. The lower the number, the worse the movement points, as it were. So here we go. Survey says, all right, nice. It's a 5. All right, actually, I guess that accent really goes more with the British Army, right? So the German units in Zone C will be able to move 6 for infantry, 8 for cavalry. So that is pretty good. Now, if you should happen to cross a boundary, let's say that I take one of these cavalry units and cross into Zone B, I can do that and they can move their full movement allowance. But once they're done, I mark them with a done marker to remind me that, hey, when I pull the chit pool marker for Zone B, they cannot be activated again. All right? All right, let's see what kind of mischief I can cause here. Into the mischief. Yeah, yeah. Oh, wait, that's not quite how that goes. Love that song, though. If you don't know Into the Mystic, Van Morrison, check it out sometime. It is really cool. All right, so standard kind of stuff. You know, you got terrain effects chart, the broken stuff, the forest and broken cost you more. All this stuff is clear, this light green, okay? And there's enemy zone of control. You have to stop. You can't go directly from an enemy zone of control to another enemy zone of control, even if it's different units. So again, pretty standard. Like I said, there's nothing earth-shattering here. Excuse me, but this is just kind of a very light, playable war game. That's a good way to put that. Okay. Now, combat is a little different from the first Clash of Giants game. This is the kind of combat found in Clash of Giants, the Civil War version, which has Gettysburg and Second Bull Run, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. You basically have a combat marker, and at any point in time, at the end of your activation, so like here with Zone C, once I'm done with Zone C, I can go ahead and declare combat, and I can attack with any units on the board. So if you declare combat, even right now, after I move all the units in Zone C that I want to move, I could fight way down in Zone A or Zone D. There's no limitation on combat, other than, of course, you have to be next to an opposing unit, and whatever units are attacking, all the units in that zone of control have to be attacked by other units as well. So there's that stipulation too. Okay? Alright, so let's get moving here. So 6 movement points. Now, let's zoom in on the situation on Zone C a little bit. As you can see, with Zone C here, we got a little bit of a situation going on here. The British have formed a nice defensive line here behind this river, which I'm looking for lice. Is that how you pronounce it? I'll be honest, I took Spanish in high school. I think I mentioned that to you guys before, so French, all that stuff is not, yeah, it's not a second language to me, so to speak. All right, so basically I'm trying to find a way to breach this line. Now, the only good thing is there's a little bit of a gap. So maybe I can try to turn this flank and slam into people here if I can. Okay? And I definitely want to show you combat. Now, if you're wondering about these guys with the little color stripe on the side of them, that's because they're the newly raised reserve corps that Falkenhayn put into the battle. Since they were kind of rapidly, one could say even hastily, raised, the troop quality needs to be determined when they first do their combat, either when they attack or are attacked. So what I'll do is I'll definitely move these guys into battle here, and then I can show you how that works. Okay? All right. So, let's see. Now, funny thing is, years ago when I read my first book about World War I, which is by Lewis L. Snyder, you know, one of those elementary school books and stuff, I remember reading about this battle and reading about the Tommies holding on to Ypres, and again, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, down here in their trenches in the water and stuff while the Germans pounded them from the high ground. And it's kind of neat because now you see that. You see here there's broken terrain, you know, that's the higher ground and stuff, so that's kind of cool to see. All right. So let's go ahead and let's start marching here. So we'll go ahead and move these guys. Just trying to make sure my arm doesn't get in the way too much, if I can help it. 1, 2, because I have 6 movement points for every single infantry division. All right. Now, if I'm going to make this work, I got to slam into basically everybody. So, you know what? Let's go. General offensive, baby. All right, so we'll move these guys down here. 1, 2. And let's see. Who else? Now, these guys are replacements, so remember, they won't be able to go anywhere. These guys are cavalry, right? Yeah. I mean, that could be helpful once I break through, but they're not much help right now. Plus, I got to watch the boundary line because we're right on the edge of the boundary line there. All right, well, these two guys can move forward. 1, 2. And then I'll bring these guys up to slam into here. Bring these guys up, slam into there. And bring these guys up, slam into here. So I will be able to show you a humdinger of a combat phase in here, it looks like. Yeah. All right, now I got to keep bringing these guys up as reinforcements too, along the edge here. So let's come back to the edge here a little bit and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, there we go. All right, as Eartha Kitt would say, perfect. All right, so we're going to launch. Well, if I'm going to attack, well, I guess that's true. I could attack. I could attack all along the line, couldn't I? Or I could just attack at the edges. That's an interesting thought. Maybe I'll just attack these 2 British units up here and try to get across the river, now that I got the flank kind of secured here, and then maybe try to wipe them out here at this village, at the, well, town of Ypres, push them back across the river, and then kind of bend their line in like this, and then see if I can really get after them. Okay. Now, of course, part of that will depend on whether I draw Zone B marker before the Allies do. Okay? All right. You know what? Let's do that because I do want to show you other aspects of things, and I don't want the video to go on forever. So we'll just go ahead and do that for fun. Okay. All right. So we'll start up here. Now, I need to check out what are the ratings of these guys. So let me go ahead and zoom in here a little bit more so then we can talk about the combat a little easier. Okay? Now, combat in the game, basically, you are comparing the strength, which is the first number on each unit. Okay, notice I rolled a die for movement because movement is not the second number on there. That's actually your tactical efficiency rating. Okay, so since these guys are attacking for the very first time in the game, I got to find out what that tactical efficiency rating is, and I've got a table over here. Now, once I roll this die, it will stay that way for the rest of the game. Voila! Oh, since I'm rolling for the Germans, that probably wasn't such a hot idea, huh? Oh, okay. Well, all right. Kind of worked out okay. It's a 4. All right. So this unit here, which is the yellow guys, they rolled a 4, so their tactical efficiency rating for the rest of the game will be a 3. So that question mark on here now will turn into a 3. Okay? All right. So now we compare strengths here between our units that are attacking. Okay. All right. So I've got 4 to 2. That's 2 to 1. But we do have a river in there. And in this game, the terrain effects of the river are +1 defense factor. So I actually went from 2 to 1 to 1 to 1. Okay? Now, the combat is a little different in this game. Okay? So we look on the chart, and we take a look. Let me zoom back out to show you the chart, because it'll be just way too hard to do it that way. Okay? So the chart here, we're doing 1-to-1 odds. Now, these are die roll modifiers, because what you're going to end up doing is you're going to roll a die for every defending unit and a variable amount of attacking units. If it says all, you're going to roll for all of them. But notice as the odds get higher, you only have to roll for 2 attacking units. So it's a little different here, okay, in terms of a combat sequence. You always roll for the defender first, and then these modifiers are used against the tactical efficiency rating. So right now we've got tactical efficiency ratings by the Germans of 3 and by the British of 4. Okay? So for example, if it was actually 2 to 1, which was my original intention before the river was factored in, then the attackers would subtract 1 from their die roll and the defenders would add 1. Okay? So what does that mean exactly? Well, let me zoom in again and I'll show you. We'll do the battle here. Okay. So the British will roll first. There's no modifier. So they're going to roll a single die and compare that roll to the second number, the tactical efficiency rating. It is a 2. Okay? So, that's good for them. If your number is equal to or less than the tactical efficiency rating, nothing happens. Okay? Now, if this number had been a 6, then they would suffer a step loss, and you take the difference between the die roll and the tactical efficiency rating. So in this case, 6 minus 4 is 2. And you'd have to retreat that many hexes. Okay? So you can see a problem here with the modifiers. You know, if you're adding 1 to the die roll and it turns into a 7, then you're retreating 3 hexes, etc., etc. Okay? So that is a bit of a problem. Well, the British don't have to worry about that here because nothing happened. All right. Now I have to roll for both of the attacking units here. And again, there's no modifier. So I'm trying to roll, because we found out the number is 3 or less. Well, I got good news and bad news. Good news, there's a 2. Bad news, there's also a 5. Okay? So what that happens is this. Now the attacker just loses a step. They don't retreat as a result of combat. Okay? So basically this assault did not work out so well. Okay? Too bad for me. Okay? Now again, I could have waited on my combat. I didn't have to do it right now. I could have waited until later on, and I can also initiate combat elsewhere on the board, which we'll talk about here in a minute, but I'm just kind of zooming in on this for the moment. Okay? So let's try again to breach this line here. We'll take these guys here, 4 to 2, 2 to 1, 1 to 1. Let's see if I can get across. So the British, this time, justice, sturdy as always, Governor. Look here, we got a 3. We got a bloody 3. We ain't going no place. Nobody's staying behind the river saying, hey, you lot over there. Ain't nobody going no place. Look here, Jerry. Stay on your own side of the bloody river. Okay? So, good enough for the British, right? Now, the Germans, again from the Blackadder series. If you've never seen it, you need to watch it. Once again, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to roll for those guys tactical. No, I don't have to. Those guys there. So we have a 4, and what's that other number there? Let's find out. We have a 4, and we have 2 4s. Alright, so the Germans also have no worries, because the numbers are both equal to or less than the tactical. Whew, having trouble with that one today. Tactical efficiency rating. Boom! So, basically, nothing happened, which, again, if you're an aficionado or expert of the First World War, you're like, yeah, so what else is there? Although I have to admit, reading some books here recently, there's a little more nuance than I think I appreciated. I'm kind of curious about this one book that's coming too about French strategy and tactics you know, from a French viewpoint of the First World War. That'll be interesting. All right, so no good. All right, we're still going to attack down here, okay? Because I want to. I want to see if I can capture that town. I want to see if I can get a hold of, or the city, I should say, there. Okay. Now, in the game, both sides have these counters that you can use to, in one attack, between those turns, between 9 and 12, this is turn 11, to shift the column 1 to the right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use this, and once you use it, it's done. Thanks for playing. Here's some nice party gifts for you. Okay. Now, these guys, of course, you can see the red highlighted on the side of the counter, so I am going to have to find out what their tactical efficiency rating is going to be for now and forever, at least until the end of the game anyway. Whoops, missed. Ah, bollocks. It's a 2. So they only have tactical efficiency. I swear, somebody should have come up with a different. A T-E-R. Tur. A tur. There we go. That sounds bad. It sounds like something. Still, a tur of 2. Okay? Alright, so, once again, we calculate the odds here. We've got 4 to 2. 2 to 1. But we are attacking into a city, so that will reduce it to 1 to 1. But I played my marker, which will, of course, bump it back up to 2 to 1. Now, with 2 to 1, it's going to be +1 to the defender die roll, -1 to the attacker. Alright, so here we go. So +1 for the French. Let's see if they can hold, because now basically they have to roll 1 to hold the position. Dun, 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 dun. Vive la France! Dun, 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 dun. Oh, so close. So close yet so far. It's a 2. Okay. Alright. Well, unfortunately, that means they will lose a step. That's the bad news. The good news is the city space is a space that has NRT on the terrain effects chart, which basically means no retreat terrain. So you can ignore a 1 hex retreat result, which is what we had there. We had a 2. Okay, so 2 with +1 is 3. 3 minus the 2 leaves 1, so they don't have to go anywhere. Okay, now our 2 German units still have to roll. Okay, now they get -1, so that'll help them. Alright, so the Germans rolled a 3 and a 2, which turns into a 2 and a 1. So, good thing there. The bad thing is, did not break through. Okay, now notice, I didn't attack with these guys. Okay, I could have, but I didn't. And of course, I didn't have to worry about some of these other units because of the way I formed up the battles there. Okay, let's hop out here a little bit, because since I'm doing combat, and I can do combat anywhere on the map, I think I'm going to try... Well, this is, yeah, that's broken terrain. But I'm going to try and push here on this cavalry in the forest. Now, when cavalry is attacked by infantry, they do have the option of cavalry retreat, which basically means they go backwards 2 hexes away from the enemy. Okay, you don't have to stand and fight. There are special rules for cavalry here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hop them back 2. The Germans can advance 1 hex into that space for that. But I'm not going to attack with anything else. I think I'm going to leave that go. So that shows you how combat works. Okay? So I'm all done then with Zone C and with my combat. So let's go ahead and we'll finish the turn out. Because again, I try not to I try to keep my videos from being too long. But, you know, sometimes, some days are better than others, like most things in life. Okay, Area A. So let's see here. Got to roll the die. And look at our handy-dandy chart. Roll a 5. That's a good number. Higher is better. So 6 and 8 on Area A. Okay, now if I wanted to, I could try to strike down here and counterattack against those German units that are kind of strung out there, away from the spot. There's cavalry there, but I don't really have any other French infantry down there. But the Germans have already attacked this turn. So you know what? Tone Loke said, let's do it. 1, 2, 1, 2. And of course, with the zones of control I have, that'll keep this German unit from coming through later on in the turn. Okay? So I will choose to do combat for the Allies right now. Well, Should I or should I wait? Well, if I wait, the Germans could, again, they could bring some troops over in Zone A here. And if they wanted to attack then, that would be a bigger problem. And although there was a little bit of a hit over here, I don't really want to get involved in that, so let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, so 2-1. So again, it will be +1 for the defenders, -1 for the attackers. The Germans said 2 + 1 is 3. Compared to their 4 rating, they're good to go. And I've got 2 different French units there. I've got a 4 and a 3. So we'll do the 4 first with -1. 5 - 1 is 4. Whew, that was close, but they're okay. And then we've got, 5 - 1 is 4 again. But these guys have a 3 rating on them. So that means they're going to get flipped. They're going to lose a step. And that's that. Okay. And Zone A is complete. So again, as you can see, I mean, it's not a real heavy game. So it is just kind of a fun game to play, a lighter game as far as World War I goes. Ah, good thing I did attack with that, because look at that. The Germans got their A marker. Now, let's see how much movement points they're going to have. Ho! It's a 1. What the? Was ist das? Yeah, well, they only get 2 movement points. That's why I'm yelling right now. Alright. Well, let's go 1-2 to keep the pressure here. And we'll go 1-2 to maybe take advantage next turn. And then 1-2 here. Don't leave those guys at Lille, because, yeah. Now, of course, since I already used my combat for both sides, no matter what kind of movements you do here the rest of the turn, combat cannot be involved. Okay, Zone B for the Germans this time. Well, let's see. Oh, and they got a 6. So that's 8 movement for cavalry. Alright, let me see my Zone B situation here. Well, I could lunge forward and prepare to attack. But the only problem is, yeah, there is a little bit of a problem there, isn't there? Well, maybe not as much as I think. Because I'm kind of looking to see the best way to take advantage of this before the French can bring up reinforcements to kind of plug all those holes. But they do have a stack of 2 units right here. So that's a little bit of a problem. But you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to take these guys. And I'll move into here, hoping that I'll get to go first next time with combat. And I'll just bring this cavalry up. 1, 2, to kind of hold that edge of the line. These guys are down there, so I can't use them. I could use these guys, and maybe it's a good idea to use them, because I got 10 movement points. So I could go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, you know what? I'm going to swing these guys out of here too, and bring them down, and have them plug that spot there. So that way, if I do manage to break through, I'll be in good shape. Alright, D for the Allies, as in dog. They only rolled a 1. Well, that's not good for them. Well, let's see. I got all these guys lined up over here. I just don't think it's a good idea, because really the burden to win this game is on the Germans, because the Allies control all the cities at the beginning. So, you know what, I don't feel the need, I don't see an opportunity there, and staying behind the river, as I think the combat I did before showed, is actually a good thing. You know, nice work if you can get it, so to speak. Alright, the Germans, Zone D, which there aren't a whole lot of troops up there because of the flood thing. And if you're thinking to yourself, holy smoke, you know what, the Belgians could just rip through this flank and come flying this way. Well, actually they can't. The Belgians can never exit Zone D. Yeah, I mean, they could come up here and try to recapture this place here, but they're not allowed to attack. There's some interesting rules on the Belgian troops here. Let me just double check and make sure about that, but I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to attack except where that attack line is, which is basically where they're lined up right now. Yeah. They cannot attack German units when operating east of the attack line. So I could march them over here if I wanted to try to grab this city back, but then I can't attack the Germans. I can only do it defensively. I guess I could swing this like a big hinge if I wanted to, but I'm a little worried since it's only turn 11. There's 18 turns. The Germans might have time to come through, cut lines, and all that stuff. So I think we'll leave that alone for right now from their perspective. Okay. Now the Germans did get a decent die roll, but again, I don't have really many units up there, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm kind of pushing towards the middle. That leaves me with the Allies having 2 more. Zone B, which will be important for them. They got a 6. Good roll for them. Because this guy way back here is in Zone B. Alright, now, we do have some pressure. Dun, 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 dun. So I could do a couple things here. I could stretch these guys out, slide these guys up onto the hill. Especially since I know these guys will be coming in, but they won't be able to move next turn if I use... Well, let's see how far these guys can get with 8 movement points. Let's start there. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not too bad, but it's a long way to the front. The only problem is I'm worried about that sticking out like that, if that's going to be an issue. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to pull these guys back. Well, it's broken land. I'm going to try and hold that, I think. I'm going to go ahead and push these guys into here with the intent of just holding. I'm not going to try and attack. I'm just going to hold them. I hope. And then the last one is Zone C for the Allies, which again... well, let's see what kind of movement points I get, because that French unit, I really should try to pull them out of the line if I can, and try to get them replacements. I only rolled a 2. So a 2 is only 4 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just short. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. Not like I could even do that and then pull them out. Oh, but you can't enter another enemy. Well, no, directly. Directly. I think I'm going to have to leave those French... Or should I just yield the city? Whew. That's a tough call. 1, 2, 3. I've still got 3, but that would give them 3 as well. You know what? I'll gamble. What I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll hope that I can maybe pull this marker first. That would be the combat one. Alright, we'll just have to hope for the best, I guess. And hope that I do pull that first. The first marker I pull is the British or the Allied C marker. Okay. And then once all those markers are pulled, then you go to the last part of the turn. A couple more steps. You've got the mutual recovery phase, which is where you take your done markers off. So these guys here that did strategic movement. This guy here with the cavalry will have his off. And this German unit here will get his replacement marker off and, of course, be flipped back to full strength now. Then the next thing you do is you check for continuous front and victory phase at the end. Continuous front, because that changes the status of the cavalry troops, is what that does. From the south map edge all the way up to the hex row 2100, which is way up here someplace. But basically... combat units and or their zones of control. But I don't have a continuous front by anybody here because we got this gap down here. Okay? And that's it. Then you move on to the next turn. Turn 12 in this case. And you start all over again. Alright, so again, just kind of a light game. But a fun game, as you can see. Easy to play solitaire because of the chit tool, which is cool. The combat thing is a little different. And the combat system is a little different at first, but you easily get used to it. Alright, so for the foreseeable future right now, it seems like I'm going to continue my World War I run here. I dug out from last year some games I picked up. I picked up SPW's Eastern and Western Front last year, and I just traded for a copy of Vento Nuovo's 1914 Germany at War, which is the Western Front from August to November. So I'll be kind of curious to see what that's like, because I really like all their 41 games, Moscow, Kiev, Leningrad, Stalingrad, Inferno, and then I just did the Kickstarter on Black Swan, which just finished here about a week ago, I guess. I'm really intrigued by that too, because most of their games have been a hit for me. I bought 5 of their games, and so far 4 of them, 80%, have been hits to this point, not counting, of course, Germany at War. The only one that missed for me was Blocks in the East. I'm not a big fan of block games with hexes. I don't know why. I like I like my block games with area spaces. So anyway, so that's coming on the horizon. So is also potentially the Lamps Are Going Out, which is supposed to be reprinted sometime later this year. Knock on wood. With the COVID, who knows? And then I also picked up that old game. What's it called? I picked up a new copy of it because my copy is actually, yeah, The Great War, 1914 to 1918. I just picked up the One Small Step version. Well, I shouldn't say I picked up. My wife got me that and got me lamps for our anniversary, which is coming up here in the next week or so. So, don't worry, I'm covered on my end. Relax. For those of you who are like, hey, don't worry, I got this. As my 4-year-old likes to say sometimes. Alright, so there you have it. There's Clash of Giants. Again, an easy system. The Marn game is a little different. You can look up more information on that if you want to. Sean Chick's review on Board Game Geek is a good one to read for that. Tannenberg, though, is much like this. It's a chip pool, free-flowing kind of game. I haven't tried Galatia, but Galatia seems to be also a very good game as well. I'm sure I'll get to it eventually as I go along here as far as my World War I run goes. So, yeah. Alright, so I'll see you again. I'm thinking, if I like it, the 1914 Germany at War. I have been reluctant, and the reason I traded for it instead of bought it is because it has a diceless combat system. I'm not sure how that will work for solo play, but of course I have an idea how to maybe mix things up a little bit, hopefully without messing up balance too much, but more about that if we get that far. Okay, if not, then you can look for either Lamps or the Great War game probably coming your way. I know, maybe not, because I said that before about the Civil War games, and as you can see, I transitioned from Civil War to World War I PDQ for whatever reason. So I guess I'm just not on a World War II run. I haven't touched a World War II game since early March was the last time I messed with a World War II game. So it's been a while. So, in between this and my last video, I played Brave Little Belgium. I played Schlieffen's War, which is a magazine game from S&T from last year. Although, judging by some of the stuff I'm reading, it might be more accurate to call it Von Moltke the Younger's War. Again, you can read about that. It is fascinating reading. Even involves Hans Delbruck in the debate, which is interesting, too. So, all right. Well, as always, I thank you for watching my playthrough here of Clash of Giants 2. And this is Tim Korchmark from Bare Bones Wargaming saying thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time, potentially, probably, from somewhere in the Great War. Thanks for watching. See you next time.